public chain is A chain side chain, right? Formed from A chain.
No, absolutely not.
Right?
Yeah, the Huobi chain is an open community. Also, we welcome any person interested in this area and take part in our project.
Right.
Also, it's a community-oriented project, also including the US A chain and something.
Would you like to share more on the Huobi chain and how this will be going and how increase the user cases for Huobi token?
Okay. It's a next point. The Huobi group and just announced yesterday the launch of the Huobi chain project and also the Huobi chain superhero champion program. With these new initiatives, Huobi is moving toward building a next generation self-regulating and decentralized financial platform. It's a very big vision for the blockchain industry. Also, HT will be upgrade from a general token to a token based on the Huobi chain.
Today we've shared a lot about global policies with primary market, secondary market, different categories of all the application coin, asset-based, platform-based. Would you mind to give a summary to our audience? So what's the highlights of the monthly summary? Yeah.
Sure. About the 5 highlights of this conversation, the one is regulation. We can see the regulation from the government is necessary and will set a bridge between the new industry and the huge space. The second one is about the primary market. Just to calm down. Just brick rate is about the 3/4 of the whole projects. So just calm down. And the primary and the secondary market have the interaction effect. In the downward market, especially in the May, application decreased most heavily in terms of the total market cap, while platform decreased most less in the term of the average market cap. That's what we described the secondary market. And about the platform, the midnight is very important. Remember why? The market value will be higher than the unlaunched midnight project.
Yeah.
ETH plus EOS occupy about also 3/4 of the market value. Technology and community makes better platform project. We could devote ourselves to the blockchain project, not like the normal internet company, just the business of the other people. And the last one, for application project, the demand for ecosystem project is strong, and the development progress will play a great role in market performance. It's what the 大志老师 talk about the application project.
Bitcoin opens up the imagination and possibilities of a global digital currency. The blockchain technology that comes with Bitcoin has put our society in an incredible time. Huobi is actively involved in this wave of rising digital assets in 2013, helping to enlighten Chinese people in digital currency investment. Huobi has made a brilliant achievement in taking the highest market share and received the highest trading volume in China. At present, Huobi Group is opening a global integrated digital asset transaction services with a strong focus on customer service. Huobi Group has set up operations and service centers in Singapore, Hong Kong, Seoul, Tokyo, Beijing, and Shenzhen. With our new base in the beautiful Singapore, Huobi Group will bring quality educational and service experiences to millions of users of digital assets in 130 countries and regions.
Hello. Hi everyone. Good afternoon everyone. Welcome to Huobi Talk episode 34. My name is Elsa and this is Yinghan.
Hello. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, we're the host for you today. We're live streaming from Singapore, Huobi.pro headquarters, #1 talk show aiming to educate viewers, bring the latest insight, developments, and stories of blockchain technology. Today, we have with us Mr. Simon Dixon, CEO and co-founder of BnKToTheFuture, who will be the speaking to us shortly. Before we start the interview with Simon, let's have some update first. Okay, last Thursday, we featured the team behind Huobi Research, where we spoke to Mr. Guo Dazhi, Chief Research Fellow, and Mr. Ding Zhaofei, researcher, who start the insights of the top picks of crypto assets. Yeah, correct. Simply check out the Huobi.pro's YouTube channel to catch up the previous episodes. Yeah, for new joiners for us today, please do remember to subscribe on Huobi.pro on YouTube. Simply click on the subscribe button below. Join us on Huobi.pro official Telegram, search Huobi.pro official, Twitter and Huobi_pro, Instagram and Huobi.pro. Check out the links in the description below right now. Yeah. For the HADAX update, checking the currently is under suspended. So check out the www.hadax.com for the latest announcement and updates. Yeah.
Also, we have specially chosen the top 5 tokens on Huobi.pro worth 5,000 USDT in May for Airdrop, especially to you. So to participate and to be eligible, simply make your first deposit, a one-time minimum amount of 300 USDT or equivalent to participate. If you want to find out more information on how you can participate in this campaign, please check out the announcement on our website www.huobipro.com. Yep, so also here are some weekly news updates and highlights by Huobi Research. In the regulatory space, Vietnamese authorities have temporarily suspended the importation of digital assets mining equipment. So we are also seeing an increase in blockchain tech applications across the world. For example, in the UK, the National Archives is exploring the use of blockchain tech for digital records. Meanwhile, in Thailand, they are testing out central bank digital currency for interbank settlement. So there's a lot of things going on all over the world.
Yeah.
And also in Japan, Japanese IT giant Fujitsu, I'm sure everyone knows them, has launched a blockchain-based reward system for retail. Also, interestingly, in Australia, we have the first ever digital currency town, which accepts tokens such as Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, NEM, NEM, Litecoin, and Ethereum. So they are accepting these currencies to boost tourism.
That's quite cool.
Yeah, quite cool, right? Imagine in Singapore or globally, we have that, like a cryptocurrency town. That would be awesome.
Great.
So there's really a lot of interesting usage of blockchain technology all over the world, and it's great to hear all this latest development. So if you are curious and you are interested to find out more about this week's news or any insights on the blockchain industry, please check out Huobi.pro's blog. So you can find a link in the description below, because on the blog we have a lot of updates from Huobi Research on the monthly highlights, the weekly updates. So it's all very interesting. So you should definitely check out our Huobi blog. The link is in the description below. And also, good news to everyone, Huobi.pro is currently hiring. So we are hiring in Vietnam and Singapore. So xin chào, our Vietnamese friend. So positions available include marketing. If you're a marketing expert, this is your chance. Operations, community. If you like to join Telegram group, engage with people on Reddit, please join us. We would love to have you. And graphic designer. If you want to design cool cryptocurrency posters, you can join us as well. So please leave a message to apachr@huobi.com with your name, CV, and interested position to apply. So I repeat, the email is apachr@huobi.com. So we look forward to having you in our team. So please check out the available positions and apply to apachr@huobi.com right now.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you. Yeah,
the more the merrier. Join our awesome team.
Yes. Okay, before we start our chat with Simon, here's an update on our signature airdrop segment. Yeah. Okay, so today, airdrop prize pool today will also depends on the amount of viewers we get during the live streaming. So please share this live streaming to all your friends now. The more the merrier.
Share it now. Just click on the share button below, because if we reach the third tier, we can get the most token.
See what we can have today is a prize pool of 218,000 BFT worth of over 34,000 USD equivalent. So the minimum tier is only 2,000 live viewer. We can share about 65,000 BFT. The medium tier is 2,005 viewers. We can share about 153,000 BFT. Of course, we'll aim to the max, right?
Yes,
so the max
definitely.
tier, we can share about 218,750 BFT. So above 3,500 live viewers. Yeah.
And currently we are at 1,300 viewers. So we are just around halfway
to the lowest tier, right?
So please, everyone, share this now on Telegram, everywhere. Yes, let's hit the top tier today.
Correct. At the end of the show, I will be announcing how many airdrop tokens you will be getting. Simply comment on the live chat with your Huobi UID 123456 and vote on HADAX to qualify for the airdrop pool tier with hit. Please don't spam on the live chat. Remember that once is enough, because we'll disqualify your entry if you post your entries twice or more than that.
Yeah, so other than your UID, right, what you can put is comments and questions you have, because we'll be picking questions to answer later.
Correct. So here is how you can find your UID on Huobi. Firstly, logging on Huobi.pro. So check on the account and security. Yeah, so login first. So you can check security. Yeah, then find your UID here. Okay, so you can leave your Huobi UID in our live chat.
Only once.
Please. Yeah.
Please don't spam.
Yeah.
We will disqualify people who spam and post more than thrice.
Correct. But you can post questions,
comments.
Yes.
We welcome those.
Yeah. Please know that all tokens will be deposited into your Huobi.pro account within 3 working days after the official announcement is posted on Medium. Okay? Okay, here is a quick reminder. We want to keep our live chat interactive. So if you have any questions, just Yunhan also share about it. You just feel free to comment on the live chat box. We'll be picking up some questions to answer along the way. Okay, so let's start our feature with Mr. Simon Dixon, Director. Kindly connect us to Simon, please. Okay. Hi, Simon.
Hi, Simon. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, can you hear us?
No.
You can't hear me
would
yet?
you like to shift a bit?
Yeah, because we can't see you fully.
Yeah.
Okay, which way do you want me to go?
Can you hear us?
You can see me now?
Can you hear?
Oh, cannot.
Yeah.
Wait a moment. I think we can't hear.
Hello?
Mr. Simon, can please shift to the right,
shift a bit to the right, because now we can't see
This
you.
way?
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah.
I think right more. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. A bit more, right? I think we are getting there. Okay, a bit more. Yeah, that's
Okay,
great.
that's great.
Thanks for joining us today. What time is it from your end right now?
So I'm here on the Isle of Man, which is an island off the coast of England, and it's currently 5 a.m.
Oh my God.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for waking up so early for this live stream. So all the viewers, Simon joined us just especially for this. He woke up so early.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Okay. So I'm normally in Hong Kong, so it would have been more sociable, but I'm here at the moment.
Okay, great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So would you like to introduce yourself to our audience, please?
Absolutely. So I'm the CEO and co-founder of BnKToTheFuture.com. I'm the author of a book, Bank to the Future, and that's me.
Oh, great. Okay, so today our topic is Bank to the Future. So how did you first got involved in the blockchain industry? Understand you are quite a pioneer in this industry and have written book on it, traditional banking versus Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, so I guess the journey began for me when I did a master's in economics at the University of Manchester. And after 4 years of studying economics, I was a bit of a mismatcher and disagreed with many of the economic theories and thoughts that I learned. And mainly the thing that interests me was the assumption behind how money is created. And I thought throughout the years in economics, they don't teach it very well. But you get caught up in university, and university kind of indoctrinates you into trying to get a job. And so my first reaction was to focus on getting a job in investment banking. I got my first job as a stockbroker in 2003, I think it was, or somewhere around then. Then I worked a couple of years in investment banking doing corporate finance and trading and market making. In 2006, I kind of got very bored of being in the banking industry and trying to make money out of the markets for the investment bank, and decided it was time to do something more fulfilling in life. So I threw in the corporate towel, and in 2006, I returned to writing, blogging, and giving lectures on the subject that really interests me, which was the subject of money.
So it's still money.
Well, it wasn't making money. It was returning to the history of money and what money actually is, because money is a technology that we all use every day that very few people understand how it got into our pocket or how it got into our account. And so in 2006, I started giving lectures all around the world. Over the years, I spoke at about 200 different universities, financial institutions, and government institutions on how money is created. The problem was that we were in one of the biggest bull markets in the traditional financial markets history we've ever seen. And nobody really cared about the subject because everybody was enjoying making money. But it was in 2007, 2008 that we had the financial crisis, when all of a sudden a few people would turn up to my lectures, to hundreds of people turning up. And then the demand on my work got bigger and bigger and bigger, so I decided to actually publish the book. And I decided that the only way to help people understand this subject of what is potentially a very boring subject, the history of banking and money, I created a fiction and non-fiction book called Bank to the Future.
How is it fiction and non-fiction?
Well, it's non-fiction because all of the events are absolutely true and factual, and it goes through the entire history of money and the financial crisis and the creation of many different technologies that I thought were going to change the world. It's fiction because it was actually a time-traveling venture. So what we did is, I'm not sure if anyone's familiar, in China, the meaning of the book is actually lost a bit because in the West, there's a film called Back to the Future, which is a time-traveling film that's very famous. And in that film, they give the sports almanac to the person's past, and they start making bets and changing the future. And they keep traveling back and forth in time in order to fix the changes that happened as a result of someone changing the future by giving their past person a book that had the future in it. Well, we did the exact same thing in Bank to the Future. What we did is we wrote about banking almanac, and we went back to every financial crisis in history, and we gave the politicians and the bankers a book of what the future looks like, with things like Bitcoin and various other quantitative easing and various things that people changed, like WeChat becoming a bank and social media and things like that. And then they changed their policy based upon the future, and until we ended up in a time where there was no financial crises, and we lived in a very different financial future. And then I predicted the future based upon those changes. So that was the book. I tried to write it for anybody that has no clue about economics, no clue about money, no clue about Bitcoin, no clue about
Sounds like I need it. So if, let's say we are interested, if any of the audience is interested to get the book, where can we get it?
So it's currently published in Mandarin and English. And it is actually, it was written, the very first drafts were in 2010. So it is an old book, but it is still relevant today. But I think you can buy it in most major online bookstores and Amazon and all those places. I'm not exactly sure what the main bookstore is in China, but the Mandarin actually was a much, much bigger bestseller than the English version.
Oh, is it?
Do you accept cryptocurrencies? Since the book is...
I don't actually sell it myself. It just sells on all the major books.
I see.
Stuff.
Okay, sounds good. I think we'll go and check it out.
Yeah, quite interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of the subject on money and banking, so what is your opinion? Do you think we need banks?
Okay, the book, there's three concepts that I like to teach people. And by the way, that book was the very first published book in the world that included Bitcoin. So many people got into Bitcoin as a result of that book. There's three things I pointed out in the book that really have laid the foundation for why I got into Bitcoin, what people need to understand about banking. And really, these things were very hard to explain until Bitcoin came along. And that is, there's three major things that people need to understand about their money. And these can be very complex subjects, or we can make it very simple. And my job is to try and make it simple. The first thing is when you receive your wages or you deposit your money at a bank, that money is not legally yours. It is the bank's money. The way that you know that is you try and spend that money in a way that the bank or the government doesn't want you to spend it. And then you will realize that you can't spend it because it's not yours. So if you're in China, if you try and take over $50,000 of that and send it abroad, you'll realize that that's not your money. The bank will stop you from sending it. They actually have control over it. If you try and travel and find out what's happening in a country like Syria, you'll soon realize that your bank account is shut down and shut off. If you try and contribute to a charity or not-for-profit like WikiLeaks that is designed to make governments more honest, you'll start to realize that your card no longer works. If you then land in a country that you forgot to tell your bank about, then you'll realize that when you spend that card, they have a formula which means you cannot spend it just in case it's fraud. And the only reason they can do that is because you're meant to tell them where you are, where you're spending it, what you're doing with it. And then if you try and send over $1 million or $1 billion RMB, you soon start to realize that you have to tell the bank what you're doing with that money. And if they don't
isn't that for security? Because they have all these checks and balances, because we are sending big amount. Isn't that somewhat?
Now, I'm not judging it. What I'm telling you is the reason that happens is because you do not own it. They own it, and they tell you whether they think it's secure, whether they think you're spending it in the right way, or whether you're doing what they think is right with your money. And if you owned it, they wouldn't be able to stop it. Your cash, you can spend how you want. If you do any of those things with a big, bag of cash, there is no censorship in that transaction.
True.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, that's the opposite with Bitcoin. Bitcoin gave you the very first money that you can own, that can exist online, and that you can send digitally. That was a huge innovation in the world that many people don't realize how important it is yet. While many people might be purchasing Bitcoin because they're speculating, the people in Cyprus, when their banking system collapsed and they lost all their money, needed Bitcoin. The people in Greece, when the ATMs said that you can no longer withdraw cash, needed Bitcoin. The people in India, when the government said, we're making this type of cash illegal, and you need to go to put your entire life savings in a bag and queue outside a bank and risk losing your life because people are trying to steal your life savings that you've put in a bag and you're queuing outside a bank to put in, needed Bitcoin. The people that are in Mexico when Donald Trump became president, and because of that, it ruined the relationship between Mexico and America, because he made it very clear what he was going to do, and they lost 25% of the value of their life savings, needed Bitcoin. And so what people don't realize right now is you may not realize you need Bitcoin yet, but you will realize that. And your job is to learn how to own your own money so that when you need to own your own money, you can. Because the second two things you need to understand are why you will need it. And so the first force, just to make that very clearly, when you deposit your money at a bank, the bank becomes the legal owner of your money. When you own Bitcoin, you own that money.
Like you own your own money. Yeah, sounds good.
You own your own money. Yep. And so the second force to understand is that when the bank owns that money, they spend it as they wish. Now, many people are like, well, when I log into my online banking, the money's there. It's not. It's a digital representation of the money, of the money you think
Nothing
you
is
have.
real.
Yes. Until you withdraw it as cash, it is not yours, and it is not real money at that point. The funny thing is that we use the term digital currency in our industry. The banks invented digital currency. Bitcoin did not. The banks got the right to invent digital currency when the government passed a law that stated banks are allowed to create a digital representation of the money that they thought the governments were creating. The governments only create cash and coins in most countries. So notes and coins are created by the government. If you log into your online banking and you see a positive balance, that balance was created by the bank. It wasn't created by the government. The government said they could create it. It's called a banking license. But the whole benefit from creating that money, the whole profits from creating money, are given to the banking sector, not to the government. The government only benefits from the creation of cash and coins, of notes and coins. And so because the banks are able to create money, the way they do that is by issuing you a loan. So every single time they issue a loan, they are allowed to create a new digital representation of the government's money. Okay?
Yep.
Now, what that means is that essentially they spend it. They decide how the money is created. If they lend you money to purchase a property, they are the gatekeepers to how people can spend their money. If they don't allow you to borrow that money in order to buy some Bitcoin, they are dictating how you spend your money by where they issue the loan. And what happens in the banking sector is 40% of all the money goes towards financial speculation. The other 40% goes towards property loans. And that's why the house prices always go up, and we had the financial crisis. It's not because property is this magical thing. It's because all of the banking system is taking all of your money and lending it to people to buy real estate and property. And so therefore it's the biggest bubble, because 40% of all the money in the world is just pushed towards pushing up an asset class called real estate and property. And the rest of it is actually lent to people to buy things. Anyway, I've gone a bit further. So the difference with Bitcoin is that it took that money that you own, and because you own it, it allowed you to spend it as you wish. Because you could take the money that you own in your pocket and you could send it digitally to anybody else that had a wallet. And that meant that it's a peer-to-peer payment system, person-to-person system, that dictates the flow of money. And this is only possible when you own your own money, because if somebody else owns it on your behalf, they are actually able to decide how you spend it. And so those are the two things. then there's a third thing, and that's the final thing to understand. And I think you will truly understand why this is such an important thing in the world, for the world. So firstly, to recap, if you deposit your money at a bank, they own it. They are the legal owners. They also spend it. With Bitcoin, you own it and you spend it. The final thing is the monetary policy. Now, this is an extremely complex subject for many people find very hard to understand. But let me tell you some very simple concepts of how to do it, how to understand this. Your money, how is it actually created? How is digital currency that the banks create actually created? Well, I already said, every time they issue a loan, new money is created. Every time you repay that loan, that digital currency is destroyed. It's kind of like if you're a crypto person, it's like creating and burning a token. Yeah, that's how digital currency is created. But you have to have a banking license in order to create it. But the problem with that money is it means that all digital currency, money that you know as the digital yuan, or the digital dollar, or the digital Singapore dollar, is backed by debt. And because it's backed by debt, it means everybody needs to go into debt in order for the money to exist. So what that means is that if you have a positive balance in your online banking, somebody else has a negative balance, which means somebody has to go in debt for your money to exist. And that creates a very, very systemic problem in the financial system, which means that the government has to continually stimulate debt, get you to take on more debt, get more people to borrow to stimulate the property market.
It's like a vicious cycle, just debts and more debts.
Absolutely that.
Yeah.
Eventually you cannot repay that debt, so what do? Well, the economy's growing too fast, they start pushing up interest rates. What are they doing when they push up interest rates? They're making it more expensive for you to repay your money. They're trying to send you bankrupt. When they send you bankrupt, we go into a bear cycle. And then they put down interest rates so that the cost of borrowing gets cheaper. They're trying to get you to borrow. So what is the business cycle? Boom, bust, boom, bust. Borrow, borrow, borrow. Stop borrowing, stop borrowing, stop borrowing. Borrow, borrow, borrow. Stop borrowing, stop borrowing, stop borrowing. Borrow, stop borrowing. And so we have this crazy monetary policy. The effect of it is that the governments continually try and stimulate banks creating more digital currency. The more digital currency that they create in the banking system, the less valuable your money is. What that means is that as the money supply increases, and it globally increases, which is a trend with every economy that is following this monetary policy, your money becomes worth less. And if your money becomes worth less, the only way to save, the only way to protect your savings is to work harder and make more money and to speculate harder.
And I think maybe for older generation, the only way is to keep their cash, not bank in, under their bed.
But if they keep their cash, they become poorer and poorer and poorer every year because it's worth less. So they're forced to speculate on the financial markets, or they're forced to buy real estate, or they're forced to work harder and put more cash in, even though it's getting worth less and less and less. And so this drives the speculative economy, and this drives people becoming, and it's why over the decades, and I know this is quite long, but this is very important foundational understanding for the rest of everything that we're involved in this industry. And so for the rest of your time, you're trying to add and add and add to your savings, while everyone else is taking on debt because that's how you stimulate economy. And the economy is fighting to, I need a positive balance, you have a negative balance. Someone else is in debt, I'm not in debt. And you create a really vicious economy and a vicious money supply where people are, it has massive consequences. Also, then you've got to look at the monetary policy of Bitcoin. Bitcoin came along and said the following. They said, we're just going to have 21 million of these things. There's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoins. We don't care what the politics is. We don't care what the country wants to do. We don't care about stimulating employment or stimulating growth or all the things that governments have to think about with their currency. They said there's only going to be 21 million of them. And this currency, because you can own it and because you can spend it as you wish, it has no geopolitical preference or agenda. It is 100% neutral. It does not care about what color your skin is. It does not care about whether you're stimulating employment. It does not care about what your sexual preference is. It does not care how you spend it. It does not care about what you think. It does not care about your political opinion. All it is maths and code that says there will only ever be 21 million, and every 4 years, and this is just the simple thing that you need to understand, every 4 years, the number of Bitcoins that get created halves. And that is the monetary policy. New Bitcoins get created every 10 minutes, is given to miners that verify every transaction, and every 4 years, the number of Bitcoins that get created halves. What that does is it creates a counter monetary policy to traditional money. Because the supply always goes, is increasing at a smaller rate every 4 years, and every 10 minutes, it means that the value of that money, as long as the utility of Bitcoin goes up, as long as more people find it useful, then the value of that currency can only go up in the long-term trend. Because that means that the only way, because the whole world is discovering one step at a time that they can own their own money, they can spend their own money, and there's a monetary policy that encourages savings rather than debt. The people that are richest in the Bitcoin economy were the ones that saved the longest. The ones that didn't save the longest are the ones that don't have much money in Bitcoin today. And the Bitcoin punishes the person that spends and encourages the person that saves.
So isn't it like a bit backtracking, because you punish the people who spend, but then I thought like the point of a currency is for people to have transaction to spend?
And this goes into a very, very fundamental debate that I think we're going to return to at the end about Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash.
Okay, sure. Maybe
having a currency that is designed for spending versus a currency that is designed for saving. Both of those are very important. To have a censorship-resistant currency designed for spending and to have a censorship-resistant currency designed for saving are two very, very important things, but they're not the same thing.
So in your opinion, Bitcoin is for store of value? Would you say that?
Exactly why, over time, there's a law called Gresham's Law, and the Gresham Law states that if you are a rational human being, and not everyone's rational, but if you're a rational human being, you will spend money that you think is going to go down in value, and you will save money that you think is going to go up in value. And so the reason that Bitcoin went from merchant adoption currency, low transaction fees and all that stuff, is because Gresham Law exists. People started to realize, and this is the final part that ties all this together, then we'll summarize and move to the next subject, but nobody wants to be Bitcoin pizza guy. Bitcoin pizza guy is the person that looks back and said, I spent 10,000 Bitcoins on 2 pizzas. And he looks back and realizes that was a $70 million pizza or whatever it was at the current price. And everybody, if they spend Bitcoin, is Bitcoin pizza guy. Now, I spend Bitcoin because I believe in the mission. I have another agenda, which is to get Bitcoin out to as many people as possible, to experience what it's like to own your own money, spend your own money, and be involved in a monetary policy that rewards you for savings rather than debt. So, I do spend those, but what happens is people they move towards saving things that they think are going to go up in value and spending things they think are going to go down in value. And this is why fiat currency and cryptocurrency are great partners, because you need money that the government is pushing down in value all the time, because that encourages you to spend it, stimulate the economy, and work on the country's agenda. But you don't want to do that with your savings, because that's a very dumb game. With your savings, you're trying to put it in places which you think are going to go up in value. And what Bitcoin has proven is that it's created a counter economy that exists outside of the traditional financial system that gives people options and protections away from political agendas that might not suit your individual. And the final concept is this concept of microeconomics versus macroeconomics. Macro is the grand whole economy. Micro is the individual economy, the individual person. What is right for macroeconomics can be very bad for microeconomics. while it might be great for your economy to have great employment, great shops, great entrepreneurship, you spending money, it might be great on the macro level, but on the micro level, it means that the value of your money goes down and you have to work harder. So you have to separate macro. The traditional money is working on the macro economy, but it's bad for your savings. The cryptocurrency money is more speculative, but with the case of Bitcoin, it's become a store of value that all you have to do is hold it over the long term. And therefore the economics are designed, as long as it gets more useful, but the monetary policy will reward you and give you options in life.
So is it like digital gold? You hold your Bitcoin like how you hold gold?
I like the analogy of digital gold, but it's different because digital gold is designed to maintain your value.
It's
Bitcoin
stable.
as a fixed money supply is designed in the long term. If more people use it, the price goes up. Because there is a fixed supply, and therefore the only thing that people can do when everyone's fighting, everybody in the future is fighting for these 21 million Bitcoins, and the only way that they can get them is to pay more for them. Now, there's times like right now when the world does not know the value of owning your own money, spending your own money, and don't understand the monetary policy of Bitcoin, so they're all trying to sell it. And that gives the opportunity for people to earn it and buy it before everybody understands and knows that. Remember, India didn't know it, Greece didn't know it, Cyprus didn't know it, Mexico didn't know it, and every country in the world, because of the political way that traditional money works, will discover it in the end. So let's just summarize this and then we can move on.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's so important.
Yeah, it's
People
very
think-
important. Yeah.
People don't understand why this industry is such an important industry that we need to bring to the world, that brings so many important things. With traditional money, you don't own it, you can't spend it how you want, and it rewards you for taking on debt without savings.
Yeah.
With Bitcoin, you own it, you can spend it as you wish, and it rewards you for saving rather than spending. And that is what excited me about Bitcoin when I first discovered in the world in 2011.
Actually, I have one question because those Bitcoin early adopters, the whales, isn't it a bit like inequality? Because those who got in early, they can have so many Bitcoins, and then, for example, if me and Elsa wants to get some Bitcoin now, we need to spend so much. So isn't there like a divide, like the rich get richer, those whales get richer, and then like the ordinary people like us who just get to know Bitcoin these few years, we have like 0.1 Bitcoin while the rich have like 10,000 Bitcoin? Isn't there like this inequality? So how can it be like the free money, like freedom? How does it?
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's a very good question, and it points out two very important points to understand. Firstly, Bitcoin doesn't care. Bitcoin was not designed to figure out the equality problem of the world. It did not say, let's give equal money to everybody in the world. It just said, here is a money supply, here is a capitalist system, and for the earlier that people discover it, the more likely they are to be rewarded if it succeeds. Now, the question is Bitcoin at a stage right now where you can't be an early adopter? Absolutely not. If Bitcoin succeeds, Bitcoin is either worth nothing because it fails, or it's worth $1 million. There's no in between. So everybody is still an early adopter. Every time, when Bitcoin went to $10, everybody told me, I'm too late, I've missed the boat, all the whales made the money. When Bitcoin went to $100, everyone said, I'm too late, I've missed the boat, all the whales made all the money, I'm jumping on now. Same for $1,000, same for $10,000, same for $20,000. You will say the same when it hits $100,000, and you will see the same when it hits $1 million. Because Bitcoin, if it succeeds, and it is all it needs to do is scale and continue on its path. The traditional system just needs to continue doing what it's doing, and more people will discover the need to own your own money, spend your own money, and have a monetary policy based upon savings and debt. So you just got to have a longer term time frame. Now that's the first thing. So Bitcoin wasn't designed to solve that problem.
Okay.
However, it has definitely redistributed money to a class of, crypto hackers and activists that got in early. That money supply has redistributed from bankers to people that believed in that. The second thing is, why do you think so many altcoins exist? Why do you think so many tokens exist? Because, you know, everybody is trying to get in early into what might be the next big thing. And so what came with Bitcoin is an altcoin wave, a hard fork wave, an ICO wave, a cryptocurrency wave, alternative wave, a token wave. And all of those gave opportunities for the ultra speculative person to enrich himself, just like when Bitcoin first started. It was very, very uncertain whether it would succeed. Everybody in the world thought you were crazy. Most people thought it was a Ponzi scheme just for drug dealers. And so the way that, you know, it's created this ultra capitalist system where almost everybody gets to play their role of saying, well, I could be the bank, and does the economy like what I'm actually doing? Well, a few people will believe that in the beginning, and you might turn out to be a scammer or something. But eventually, you know, people can jump on at different stages depending on their risk profile.
Okay,
But what you have
Simon,
to
just
understand,
a moment.
yeah.
Thanks so much for your sharing. I think we are kind of like, we spend quite a lot of time on this. So potentially, I think we even need another episode just to talk about the problem with money banking. Because we have so much to cover. So can you just summarize this part of it? Like, what's the problem with banking? Just do a quick summary, and then we move on to our feature on Bank to the Future, because actually this feature is more, we want to introduce more on the platform and BF token, because
Sure.
I think for this topic we can even talk it like talk
Absolutely.
about it further in a future episode. There's so much to cover.
So
Yeah, so many insights.
The summary is that cryptocurrency is a lot more important than most people think. And most people get involved for speculative reasons, but over time you will realize that this does a lot more than you actually think, and it's a lot more important than you think. Which leads into why I created BankToTheFuture.com. And so Bank to the Future was, I wrote this book that had a vision that the future of finance looks very different from the past. And because our crypto investments did so well, we, way back in 2010, were lobbying the government to allow people to invest online. It wasn't until 2014 that the first ICO came along. But what people don't actually know is that prior to that was 4 years of us lobbying regulators to get licenses to allow people to invest in equity online. Now, we started in the UK, and we got the very first regulator in the world to change the law to allow people to invest online in ventures like private equity. A few years later, the US copied the work that we did and created something called the Jobs Act. And they spent 3 years trying to change the laws at the SEC in order to allow people to invest in companies online. In the meantime, Ethereum came along well, the first ICO that we invested in was Mastercoin, which was trying to do what Ethereum did, but turned it into, essentially turned Bitcoin into what Ethereum later became, where you could create loads of tokens. But it didn't succeed as much. And we were investing in many of the early tokens, like MadeSafe and Storage and Factor. And we were also investing in many of the early Bitcoin companies. A lot of these companies, which are multi-billion-dollar companies today, no one would invest in them back then. So I'm talking companies like BitPay and and many other the exchanges that we invested in. And we created a platform because we wanted to invest in everything to do with this industry. And so what we did is we created the online platform. We spent 4 years securing the licenses to allow this to happen. And because our Bitcoin investments did so well, we no longer needed to treat it as a company that we needed to scale for venture capitalists and try and grow as fast as possible. So we dedicated the whole platform to supporting the growth of the Bitcoin and blockchain industry. We hosted funding rounds on the platform for over 100 of the most valuable companies in our sector today. And we allowed our investors to co-invest in the things that we were investing in online. Then all of a sudden, the ICO boom took that and scaled that globally. But the funny thing is about the ICO boom, it happened in 2017, and almost everybody forgot that there was actually decades of securities laws and rules that were written around these things. And so what we did is we started investing more. We loved the disruption. We were investing a lot in that phase. If this is going decentralized, if this is going the way Bitcoin went, then great, we're going to support that. But at some point, I think regulators will realize that they actually do care about the laws that they spent decades and decades creating.
Definitely.
And so we have a licensed platform, we have a registered platform that is able to do continue the growth in line with securities law, and investors are actually able to diversify widely. So my theory was from the book, the future of finance looks very different from the past. I've got no idea which companies are going to succeed, but every single industry in banking, investment banking, central banking, IPOs, every single area is about to be disrupted by this technology. And I want to invest in it all, and I want people to be able to come along and invest a small amount in all of it and diversify widely, because no one knows which ones are going to succeed.
So you don't think that token offering, like the increase in ICO's token offering, will affect private equity funding? Will it affect your platform?
It has. It totally will, and it has. So what we do is we provide a way that people can invest in line with securities law. So the issuer can still issue a utility token that's going to be traded on Huobi, but during the initial phase, during the development stage, when it's most likely to be a security, they can sell it to investors in compliance with global securities law, because we spent 7 years going in every single securities law around different countries and building a process that is in compliance with the local securities law, so that people can invest all around the world in compliance with global securities laws. And that was what Bank to the Future created. And so when people are coming along right now, the SEC cares about this stuff. We spent 7 years being ready for that. So everyone's now trying to get ready for it, but we've got the platform already. And that really was what BankToTheFuture.com was, because I came from an IPO background. I was floating companies on stock markets. Because we wrote the book Bank to the Future, because we saw Bitcoin early and spoke at that very first Bitcoin conference, we spent 7 years putting the trends together, ready for today. And that year in 2017, when crypto went so mainstream, started disrupting things that people never imagined, and the entire world heard about Bitcoin. That was and while we're in our crash in 2018, those years, by the way, is where people get wealthy, quite frankly. It's when Bitcoin crashes to $5,000 that people get another opportunity. It's when everyone else wants to sell that you get the opportunity to accumulate, and that is when wealth is created. It's when last year, nobody could build. Everybody was dealing with hundreds and thousands of customers all around the world that were all asking, what's Bitcoin? What's a private key? What's this? How does that happen? And we were all, Huobi, everyone, our customer service was slammed. Everybody was delivering a worse customer service than they would like to. It was hundreds of thousands of tickets coming in, platforms going down. No one could scale to the size. The transaction fees were going up. It was absolute carnage in 2017 when the entire world was discovering about this technology. 2018, we need time to calm down. We need to build great technology. We need to look at scaling solutions. And the people that have ran away are the people that have lost that, that aren't going to accumulate the wealth because they're thinking too short term. This is about changing the entire financial system, investment banking, retail banking, every money as we know it. This is changing the entire world. It is 100%, in my opinion, predictable, inevitable, and guaranteed. And if you can just think longer term, you have the opportunity that you will look back in 50 years' time, and your grandchildren will ask you what it was like to be alive today at the change of the financial system. And if you think that, it's such a mountain of opportunity, and so many problems, so many scams, so many changing things, so many ways to lose your money, so many things to go wrong. But if you can take a step back and you can look at some kind of risk-managed approach, and that's why Bank to the Future, we do the due diligence, we know the difference between a scam and a non-scam. Sometimes we get it wrong. We're not guaranteeing that these things are going to succeed or be right. But we built the platform to kind of filter through the good companies that seem to be doing something, and then you can decide which one you like, and you can diversify widely, and you can do it in compliance with securities law, so you can ensure that hopefully no one's going to prison as a result of doing this wrong. Hopefully.
Yeah, thanks Simon for the sharing. So just want to check with you, so what are some of the projects you have personally invested in and why? Can you share just 3 main points what you look out for when you invest in a project?
Yeah, so firstly, our early days of investing was all about equity in many of the companies. So we invested in many of the exchanges. I would love to have invested in Huobi, but we weren't in discussions then. But but we invested in something like Bitfinex, Kraken, Bitstamp, BitPay, BitPayzer, Enocoin, some of the exchanges across India, Africa, Mexico. And many of the infrastructure plays that made this ecosystem more useful to bring more people in. Then, the original investment was obviously Bitcoin, which is the cornerstone of what I think everyone's portfolio should look like. Then you can go for more speculative things. And so at the time, Ethereum was a huge uncertainty about whether this would be useful. No one knew what ICOs were or what that was going to be. This was all about building smart contracts. It turns out that Ethereum was the foundation for disrupting the IPO market. And people could become the issuers of their own tokens, and these could act, somewhat similar to disrupting the traditional thinking around what an equity in a company
Simon, what about giving us just 3 words? So 3 words to describe what you look out for, 3 main words, how you choose good projects to make it short and simple. Yeah.
Sure. So the first thing is the team.
Okay.
A good team can make a really bad project useful. Mm-hmm. The second is incentives. You've got to look at how people are incentivized. If people get all their tokens up front and they become millionaires straight away, then they're going to run away and not build the project. The third thing that we look for is advisors and people that are willing to put their reputation on the line, that have been around the block, understand what blockchain is for, and have a lot to lose if they put their name and reputation on the line for something.
Cool. Thanks, Simon, for the sharing. Yeah, okay. Thanks. The 3 words are very interesting. So before we move on, maybe we would like to share a bit on our Airdrop segment for those that just joined us.
Yeah. For those just joining us, here's an update on your signature Airdrop segment. So Airdrop prize pool today will also depend on the amount of viewers we get during the live streaming. Please share this live streaming with all your friends now. So the more we can get, the more sharings. So the minimum tier is 2,000. Actually, already hit the minimum tier. So we
awesome.
Get, so everyone confirm can share about 65,000 BFT token. So second tier is 2005, so you can get about share about 153,000 BFT. Definitely we aim for the highest tier,
yes.
Right?
So please share this live stream with all your friends. Remember to press subscribe, press share. Let's get to the 3rd tier today.
Yeah, 3rd tier we can share about 218,750. So at the end of the show, we'll be announcing how many airdrop tokens we will be getting. So simply comment on the live chat with your Huobi UID and vote on HADAX to qualify for the airdrop pool. We will hit. Okay, please don't spam the live chat. Reminder that once is enough. We'll disqualify your entry if you post your entry 3 times or more. Yeah. So maybe we can check some QAs.
Because the live chat has been very active. We have received many questions for Simon. So Simon, are you ready to answer some questions from the audience?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's pick out some. So question for Kung Le: how to manage your customer around the world? Because BnKToTheFuture, what demographic does it serve? Is it global? And understand that each country we have different regulation, different rules. So how does it actually work? Can you summarize this?
Yeah, so if you sign up to BnKToTheFuture.com today, you have a custom user experience based upon your country of residence. So we need to do KYC, we need to know who you are, you enter your country, and we use technology to determine which country you're from as well. And based upon where you're from, we will use the local securities laws to onboard you in a compliant way. and then we will display to you the investments that are compliant to be able to invest in your country. That's the goal, and that's what we worked on. So it is global. Unfortunately, at the moment, we only focus on English speaking. But we do have communities in, we've got Telegram groups in Japan, in Korea, and in China, as well as English speaking. And if you joined our English speaking Telegram group, they'd be able to guide you to the Chinese speaking WeChat group, or the Japanese Telegram group, or the Korean groups. So yeah, we have tried to be as global as we can. We've got a lot to improve, and we really appreciate your feedback on how to do that.
Cool. Another next question from Kizing6988. What is your opinion on the vision of BFT? Yeah.
So, I mean, should we go into a more general discussion about what BFT is? Because
One sentence. Vision. Vision for BFT in one sentence.
The vision of the BF token is that we're building a whole ecosystem around securities token and the ability to trade and sell these securities. And we've created a model that we think adds value to the BF token holders, where the earlier they get in, the more likely they are to reap the rewards. And we've created a whole utility function around it. And hopefully we'll go through that later when we do the BFT part.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can pick one more question.
Maybe a question from Kin Kong. All the people into crypto can accept BFT, but how do you plan on bringing people outside of it? So outside of the digital currency community, how do you get more users to use BnKToTheFuture and use BF token?
Yeah, well, I mean, the interesting thing is, because we're compliant with securities laws, we also have processes for onboarding fiat. And so, while we are not a mass product, we cater for a certain niche type of person that believes in this industry and wants to build a diversified portfolio in this industry. The risk of the products that we offer is not necessarily right for everybody. But then the goal is to increase the utility of the token. We've got memberships. We've got a reward structure for people that contribute to our community. And we also have other things that we're working on. When we go through the roadmap, I'll be happy to go through those things.
Cool. So moving forward, we'll pick up some more questions to answer later, but back to our interview. So can you share with us more on the BFT token, like the token supply, the function, and more on the token offering? Because I heard that you close your token sale early with a hard cap of 33 million, which is quite impressive. So can you share a bit more?
Sure, yeah. So when BnKToTheFuture decided that the timing was right for us to sell a token, we had to do it in compliance with securities laws, just due to the nature of what we do. So we had to take our time and let the economy mature a bit before we actually released our own token. But when we did, we launched the pre-sale on our platform, and that sold out 30 million in 15 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And the public sale was designed to helping people purchase memberships on our platform and purchasing tokens, and that sold out in 2 minutes and 17 seconds once we went live.
Wow.
So it was really interesting to go through this experience, and I do remember way back in 2010 hustling to try and get people to put $250,000 into a company so that we could build the technology. And it's just amazing how far this industry has come in such a short period of time as well. So the way that we designed the token is we wanted to do it where we wanted to be fair to everybody. So we offered nobody, no matter whether they were the most sophisticated, good contact investor, and we had some really institutional investors that came along in our pre-sale, and we had great advisors, industry veterans, because I've met so many people over my time. But we gave nobody a discount or a bonus. So what we wanted to make sure is that is that everybody has the same price if they got involved at the token sale level. And so nobody was offered a different price or a different discount, and it still worked. So it shows if you've got genuine demand, you don't necessarily need to create a market where these people get a better price than those, and therefore they're more incentivized to sell to those people, and you create weird strange scenarios. So that was a really important goal for us. And the reason we created the token in the first place was to solve some of the main problems that we were experiencing at BnKToTheFuture as we were scaling. The first was we have a very centralized process for determining what companies to list on our platform. And as we are moving more to a securities exchange, we wanted a more democratized process and way that more people could get involved in our community if they weren't necessarily a high net worth investor or anything like that. And so we created 3 uses for the token. The first is a membership, so that is a live use at the moment. If anyone registers for an account and qualifies and does all their KYC and everything they need to do, and if they deposit 10,000 BFT to their account, then they get 48 hours priority access to all deals and any favorable terms. We do have some deals that will only list to our token holders. Like, for example, in August and September, we've got an allocation in the RSK token sale, which is a very hard token sale to get into.
Simon, just a question. So I saw that the 3 problems it's BF token try to solve is membership, rewards, and payment. So this sounds like a membership token. Like you can just create a digital token. So can you summarize why do you need blockchain technology? Why do you need this token to be on the blockchain?
So for the membership, we do that, and that allows people to transfer it interoperable. It allows more people to get involved in our community, because in compliance with securities laws, you have to be restrictive on what types of people are able to invest. The reason we did this on the reward side is that we wanted a very simple and easy way to actually track who's contributing to our community, who's contributing to due diligence, who's helping with the investor relations, and be able to reward them with BF tokens as they add more value to our ecosystem. The final section is that later in the year, later next year, we're looking to launch a securities token exchange. And we wanted to have a model whereby people could pay their trading fees. And blockchain is the ideal technology for that. Now, when we launch the securities token exchange, if people pay with BFT, they're going to get discounted trading fees. And also the securities tokens, when we build our entire ecosystem, are going to be built as blockchain-based assets where compliance is built in to the actual protocol. So they can trade them with each other, but only with people where it's compliant with securities laws. So blockchain gives you the opportunity to build that into the actual security. And that's one of the things we're working on. And we wanted BFT to be interoperable with the securities tokens that we're going to be launching throughout 2018, 2019, and beyond. So those are the 3 user cases.
Cool. And I think also BFT, as in BnKToTheFuture platform, deals with cryptocurrency, digital tokens. So having a BF token based on blockchain, it kind of works as well, since BnKToTheFuture is so focused on the digital currency industry.
Then who are your competitors? What make you different from your competitors? For let's say BnKToTheFuture.
Well, it's very interesting because firstly we launched with no competitors. We started this in 2010, and we spent 4 years securing the licenses. And now in 2017, the entire industry wants to be involved in what we're doing. Yeah. And now by 2018, you've got all the banks and financial institutions that are realizing we're about to, lose our lunch. We need to adjust. And so really, I don't see this as competition. I'll tell you why. Because originally, when we did the early funding rounds, there was nobody that wanted to invest in this industry. And we brought them all together on a global scale, and we had a very niche community. Now the entire industry is, the entire world is suddenly interested in our sector. It doesn't create more competition. We've grown throughout that whole phase, and there's a lot more people looking to do what we're doing. However, we cooperate with all of them. So, for example, there's Polymath, which is looking to build a protocol for securities tokens.
I think Polymath is listed on Huobi.pro. Yeah.
Okay, so Polymath is, we know the team there. We know Trevor well. And they're looking to build a protocol for securities tokens. Now, that's great. That means we don't need to build that, and we can launch our securities tokens faster. T0 comes along and says we want to create a US compliant securities token exchange. Well, that's great. It means that we can list our securities tokens in compliance with the laws that we deal with, and they could also get a listing on a US exchange. Those rules are very different, and it creates more liquidity and more arbitrage opportunities between the exchanges. So one of the things that I think exchanges realized is that it wasn't when they were just doing it on their own, when everything was one exchange, it was way more volume than when there was 15 exchanges and everyone was trading between each other.
That's interesting. So it's like an ecosystem, not competition.
It's exactly that. Look at how an IPO is done. Facebook comes along and says, I want to list on the New York Stock Exchange or the Nasdaq. All of the investment banks are competing to be the lead investment bank. Goldman Sachs wins, but Goldman Sachs goes along and says, but I'm also going to have syndicates from JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and all the other investment banks that were underwriting and involved in the process. It's very much like that right now. When BnKToTheFuture invests in something, we want Huobi to be an investor. We want their investment arm. We want great investors. We want all the other platforms and ecosystems to be involved, because the more great investors, the more liquidity they have, the more access to exchanges, everything, the more likely they are to succeed as a token. And we as a platform, we succeed when the companies do well, when the tokens do well. And that's exactly what we're looking for. So it's a whole ecosystem. It's not competition.
So the more the merrier.
Absolutely.
Welcome more people into this industry. Like, friendly competition is good and leading to cooperation as well.
Yeah, correct.
Absolutely.
Then how about the roadmap for the BnKToTheFuture? What's your future plans for BnKToTheFuture?
Okay, so at the moment we have the ability for people to invest in equity, other equity products, securities tokens, and utility tokens sold in compliance with securities laws. The most commonly requested feature that people have asked on our platform is the ability to trade and sell those shares to other members. So we're currently working on building our secondary market, whereby those early shares that we invested in, like some of the most valuable companies today, people will actually be able to purchase those shares from people that wanted to sell. So someone bought shares in, a really established company in 2015, then they can cut on the current market valuation and sell them to someone else that missed the opportunity. So we're looking at building the secondary market for the equity. The next thing we're working on is the wallet for BFT. So we want to have our own digital wallet on Android and Apple. Yep. And the idea of that wallet is initially it will just support BFT so that people can. So remember we talked about the difference between crypto and banking? Well, we'd like people to be able to own their own BFT, because when they deposit with BnKToTheFuture, that's a different banking type relationship. We'd like people to take it onto their own wallet and us still be able to verify in the blockchain that they have that balance.
So when will the wallet be out, like estimated?
I hate estimating things because there's so many regulations, compliance, and everything involved.
You need some like timeline, so people kind of know when will it be here.
We'd like that to be out in the next 4 months, and then the idea of the wallet is two phases. Firstly, it would just be for BFT, and then secondly, it will be able to hold securities tokens in the compliant way, and then it will integrate with the BnKToTheFuture platform, so your login credentials via an API can move across the wallet.
Is BFT is a ERC20 token, or is it?
Correct.
It's a ERC20. So technically, you can hold it in your own wallet. So why do you need another wallet?
That's fine. If people want to hold it in their own wallet, we don't mind that. But we're building an ecosystem here where it's interoperable between securities tokens in the future.
I see.
And so with securities tokens, you can only hold those in a wallet that's compliant with securities laws in the future. So, although you can hold them in your own wallet because you can build the compliance into the token, people are going to want a nice ecosystem whereby they can put it in their BF wallet, we can verify the transaction, but they can still own the private key. And that's one of the innovations that we're looking to bring forward.
Cool.
Go on.
Yeah, then any exciting development or recent partnership to share with our audience?
Yeah, I mean, so, we have partnerships with many people in the ecosystem because this is a very complex area to build out. For example, Polymath, we're looking at using their protocol. Securitize is another one that's looking to do. We need to be compatible with those. On our board of advisors is Diego from RSK. We want to make sure that we're looking at, the blockchains that are going to be facilitating this in the future. At the moment, it's all done on Ethereum, but in the future, it could be EOS, Ethereum, and Bitcoin with RSK. So we need to make sure that we're forging those partnerships with all the people that are doing those things.
Okay, sounds very exciting. A lot of things going on. So thanks for the sharing, Simon. So before we move on, let's have a look at our airdrop reminder.
Yeah. So for today, we have a prize pool of 218,000 BFT and already hit the second tier, which is 205. We can share about up to 153,000. So do remember to leave your UID with correct format. So keep leave on your live chat. So maybe we can share more later. Maybe we can hit the max tier.
Yes. Yeah. So please press the share button right now on YouTube. Share it on Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, everywhere. And while you're doing so, remember to subscribe as well. Just press the red subscribe button. It's like so visible. So give you 5 seconds to do so. Press subscribe and share. So the more the merrier. If we hit 3,005 viewers, everyone get more token.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Would you like to pick up some questions?
So now, let's have a look at our QA, because I think from the live chat we have a lot of interested viewers. They want to know more about BFT, so we have a lot of questions. So we'll just have a look. Okay, we have a question from Salah. This is regarding Bitcoin. You seem to be a big believer in Bitcoin. What will happen to BFT if Bitcoin dies? But I think your answer will be you don't think that Bitcoin will die, right? Any answer to that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Bitcoin will die. I think it's hit a phase where it's got enough security and decentralization around it. But if Bitcoin fails, something else will come along. I think it's our best shot we got at a digital, currency that could be the world reserve currency. It's currently the world reserve currency of cryptocurrencies. It could be the world reserve currency of currencies and all assets. But yeah, I mean, if Bitcoin dies, the whole industry is going to definitely tumble with it, and something will come along. But this invention cannot be uninvented. And Bitcoin is secure and decentralized enough where I believe that it's taken out a lot of the attack vectors that many other coins are still subject to.
But do you think that other technology can potentially kind of take over Bitcoin? Because, for example, IOTA, we have the Tango technology. So they are kind of improved versions of banking on the blockchain technology. They are kind of new and improved versions. So do you think future technology can potentially may replace blockchain technology?
Well, yeah, the new technology has a big problem that Bitcoin has an advantage over, and that is that Bitcoin was created by an anonymous person when no one cared.
Yep.
Anything that's created today has to be created by a person, and they have to use their reputation in order to add credibility to it. And once you have a person adding credibility to it, they become the central point of failure and attack. And so while I don't see Bitcoin and Ethereum and IOTA as competitors, because they're doing different things. Ethereum is not designed to be a money supply. It's designed, it's got an inflationary currency built in to a smart contract platform, where the cheaper Ether is, the better the smart contract platform. So the price going up makes Ethereum Ether a worse platform. Whereas Bitcoin's designed to be disruptive to central banking, I think Ethereum's designed to be disruptive to investment banks and IPOs. And IOTA might be disruptive to retail banking, but it will need the settlement layer, the digital store of value, as the world reserve currency for all this other innovation. And I think Bitcoin secured that spot, and I don't think it's going to lose that spot. But I think there's going to be great innovation. I think as more and more projects come along, it creates competitiveness in development teams. And what we've seen over time is that throughout the whole time that all these altcoins and all these tokens and all this new innovation came along, Bitcoin went up to record highs because it's all interoperable, it's all needed, they all trade against each other. and just everything that strengthens the ecosystem.
I think this ecosystem is still growing and the future is super promising.
Oh, we're
so can't
right
wait.
at the beginning.
Yeah, we're at the beginning, right? Still early adopters, hopefully. Yeah, great. So maybe we should. Yeah, great.
See one
to
more
be
question
here.
from McKinney. He say, why bank to the future without A for the bank?
That's an
so it's
interesting
like
subject.
bank to the future.
Bank to the future.
Well, so the first thing is we do have the domain banktothefuture.com with an A. So if you use it, it will just redirect to our domain. But laws all around the world have stated, the IMF and the World Bank have stated that in order to have the A in your name and bank in your name, you need to either have a banking license or apply for permission from your local regulator in order to be a bank. And what they have to do is they have to determine that there's no opportunity for people thinking that you're subject to federal insurance and bank deposit laws. And so anyone that's got bank in their name is actually in breach of international banking laws.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so and so you can't have bank in your name unless regulators all around the world give you permission to actually have that. Is something that regulators have put in for consumer protections. Now, the interesting thing is that Bitcoin is redefining what a bank is. And so when Bitcoin came along and redefined what a bank is and gave people the people to own their own money, spend their own money, then we no longer wanted to be associated with a bank. However, it's still disruptive to banking. So to us, taking the A is an interesting conversation that new people come along and say, is it a bank? Well, no, it's a boom. We don't have an A. And the final book that I want to write, when Bitcoin and blockchain has disrupted all areas of traditional finance and people have the ability to own their own money, spend their own money, and every product, then my final book that I'd like to write is how this entire ecosystem disrupted it and tell the actual story rather than the fiction version. And that title of the book is going to be The Bank Stole My A.
Can't wait to read that. So can't wait to have it published. So interesting. Yep. Okay, so moving on. So thanks for all your sharing. I think we learned a lot about Bank to the Future, about money, about banking. So I just want to ask you, so what do you think of Huobi.pro? I understand that BF token is listed. So why did you choose to list on Huobi.pro in the first place?
Well, we built a relationship with Huobi. One of our advisors was one of the directors from Huobi Capital, Lee, and Huobi is. We've got a great history. I lived in Hong Kong for 3 years, and I spent a lot of time. I did a global tour across China with famous investor Jim Rogers. And I spent so much time with the book being such a bestseller in Mandarin. I spent so much time in China, and that is your foundations, that we built a lot of relationships, and we had a really strong community across China. Obviously, Huobi is so much bigger and global than it was in its roots, and as the regulations changed, Huobi moved from China to all these different jurisdictions and has grown. But with this, we follow liquidity. And Huobi.pro have a great community. They seem to be doing great things like Huobi Talk and everything that you guys are doing to engage the community and try and make sure that you're building the best platform you can for your customers. So
thanks for the support. I think because of all the project support like Bank to the Future, that's like why Huobi is what we are today. So we look forward to more collaboration, and also maybe we want to feature you again on Huobi Talk because you have a lot of insights on money and banking. So potentially in the future we can have another episode. So if the audience, any of you are keen, you can comment and tell us, yes, you would like to see Mr. Simon back again. We may schedule something out again for a future episode.
Can leave some, let's say, what topic you want to hear from Simon. We can discuss
quite
more
interesting
about it.
Because I think previously one of the hot topic was that Simon was debating with Mr. Roger Ver on Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. So potentially, if the viewers are interested, we can actually come up with an episode featuring both of you, so you can have an in-depth debate. That'll be great.
Okay. I've known Roger for many years. The Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin thing has produced a real split in the community. But really, we've got to think of the bigger picture again here. We've now got one chain that's optimizing the user case of cash and the other chain that's optimizing security and store of value. And those two together can work a lot better when one's pushing merchant adoption and the other's pushing security and savings. So it really is about, I think, working together. The scaling debate was long, it was painful, but now we've everyone got their way in the end. And at the end of the day, if you owned Bitcoin, you received all this free Bitcoin Cash.
Yep.
And we figured out a way of resolving our differences through capitalism and technology. So I think that's something to be celebrated and step
Instead
back.
of saying like who is the real Bitcoin, we should just celebrate both, because both have different use case, both can serve their different purposes, right?
They are. They got to be different, and you don't need one to die for the other to succeed.
Maybe in the future episode when we have Roger with you, you guys can discuss more on this.
Yeah, we need. So the debate we had, we didn't have a moderator, and so it was very, very tricky.
Oh, I see.
Roger's a very passionate person, and he spent a lot of time, trying to push Bitcoin Cash. I couldn't get much of a word in, so we're going to rely on you to actually
definitely
do
moderate.
good
We'll be like
moderation.
only 5 minutes each.
Yeah.
At one time, you can only speak for 2 to 5 minutes. Maybe that's what we'll do. Yeah, so can't wait for like future episodes for you to share more insights, because I think today we learned a lot. I feel like I just attended a university lecture on banking, finance,
the foundation.
and I want to. Yeah, so it's quite interesting. Really, very interesting.
I think you've learned the lesson of what happens when you ask me a question. 20 minutes later, you realize that we're still on the same topic.
Yeah. So like, I think this live stream can go on forever if we don't stop as well. Right?
Yeah.
We can talk the whole day, which is awesome. Maybe
Yeah,
next time we
and
can
then
schedule a longer live
try-
stream. Yeah.
Yeah, try putting Roger and me both on there, and you're not going to end.
Maybe we can have a 24-hour marathon and then see who stops talking first.
Yeah.
Okay, so just some final thoughts. So one final question regarding Bitcoin. So would you say that blockchain's biggest asset, decentralization, is also its biggest weakness? Because with decentralization, transaction speed and scalability is compromised. So what's your thought on this? Because in theory, Bitcoin, blockchain technology sounds so good. Like they are like, in theories, like the use case is good, they give people freedom, but then the thing is that there are so many problems right now, like scalability, the speed, and adoption rate as well. Like very few people in the world own Bitcoin. So what are your thoughts on this? Can you maybe summarize in a few sentences?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. You have touched upon the issue. Once you get a bit more geeky in this subject, you realize that the issue is, can we scale? The answer, I believe, is that we've got, more and more, we've got the most intelligent people all around the world that have completely been incentivized and captured into this industry. The employment growth is on record levels. While the price is down, we've still got more and more people, like the double-digit growth employment in this industry. All the jobs are in blockchain right now. It's attracting the heart and imagination of the most intelligent academics, economists, financial people, every type of person is being attracted to this industry. And they will solve these issues, just like the internet didn't scale in the beginning. Blockchain doesn't scale right now, but then someone comes along and creates an amazing thing that introduces new scalability features. But that is the thing. With decentralization becomes scalability issues. The most scalable thing is a centralized database like WeChat and PayPal, so they have a better user experience. But you don't own it, you can't spend it, and your value of your currency goes down over time.
So it's give and take, like you can't have it all. Is that
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, absolutely, yeah. And that's why I believe in a fiat world and a crypto world. I don't think one replaces the other.
So it's like cooperation, it's an ecosystem. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks Simon for the sharing today. So before we end this interview, let's pick up maybe 2 more questions from our live chat, because we have a lot of questions. And for all the viewers that ask questions that we didn't have time to answer, please feel free to leave your questions on BnKToTheFuture social media Telegram group, or for questions for Huobi on our social media and Telegram, we will answer them there. Yeah, so because
and make sure, just want to say, make sure you get the official group. There's lots of scam groups out there, so
make
be
sure
very
you get
careful.
the official one.
Be
So
really
Simon, maybe you
careful
can say a
with
bit
that.
on what are the official channels for Bank to the Future if people want to reach out to you.
So we've got Bank to the Future on Twitter, which is the one that has about 14,000 followers, not the fake ones. We have a Telegram group which is called I think Bank to the Future Community. Maybe we could put some links somewhere to help people.
Yep.
And then if you want to register at banktothefuture.com, we'd love to see if you qualify to build a portfolio there, or apply for finance if you've got a great project at banktothefuture.com. A word on that. You've got to be really careful, people. The responsibility of owning your own money means people want to scam you out of your own money. So you've got to really look twice, make sure you're joining the right community, right website.
Yeah, because like they say, 99% of digital asset is scam.
Yeah, but
right.
the problem, there's so many people that want to scam you out of your money. Below any tweet we have, you've got scammers pretending to be us, giving away 3 Ethereum and all that stuff. Be careful, people. Just, really verify a little bit more.
Okay, great. Let's pick out some questions. So questions from Corey Tam. Thoughts on the next Ethereum killer?
I'm not sure we need an Ethereum killer.
Yeah, why kill, right? Just cooperate together, ecosystem.
I think Ethereum has got, so firstly, on Ethereum, they should stay proof of work. I really believe in proof of work over proof of stake. I think because it's so hard and so secure, how many good proof of work chains do we have? We've got Bitcoin and we've got Ethereum.
But proof of work is so energy wasting. It's
I
so
understand
inefficient and slow.
So let's work on innovation around energy efficiency, but let's not kill the security model. We need at least two to five very good proof of work chains. Ethereum is good, Bitcoin is awesome, and there's room for a few more to compete as well, but there's not going to be many of those. If Ethereum converts to proof of stake, that's going to be a very controversial thing that's going to lead to 3 or 4 hard forks and the splitting of the Ethereum community. That's going to happen. It'll be an interesting thing to watch out. But what I'm looking for here is, because Ethereum has such a vibrant developer community, that why would you want to kill that? Why would you want to kill Ethereum? But the market speaking, I did invest in the EOS ICO. I think what we're discovering really with the thing with these blockchains is it's all coming down to nobody knows whether this technology is going to work. We had no way of verifying whether Bitcoin technology would have worked when we originally invested. We had no way of verifying whether Ethereum would have worked because very few people have the technical capability to know. And nobody knows whether EOS is actually going to work. Even the developers that are developing it don't know what they haven't missed. So you can't pick the best technology. You have to diversify across all the things that are building great communities that look like they've got a great development team. And sometimes things are going to be wrong. Sometimes there's going to be casualties.
Like you said, now it's so early in the industry, right? We can't be sure on anything. So now it's really just to see which are the better community.
In the current environment, it looks like EOS is building the biggest, most global community, working on the scalability problem, and I don't think anyone should be missing what they might produce. Yeah.
Okay, so last question from Andy Tan. Is it tense debating with Roger Ver?
Say that again?
Andy Tan is asking, was it tense debating with Roger Ver previously? How was the experience?
It was. So I've known Roger for many time. We've had private dinners before.
So he's your friend.
We consider ourselves friends. We disagree. We disagree on many things that we would say publicly. Yeah, but during the debate we had, because we didn't have the moderator, it didn't work too well.
Okay, great. So next time we have 2 moderators, so we can really control the time.
Absolutely. So I would like to have done that in a better way with a moderator, so we can really control that, because he's if not more passionate than I am, and I like to talk as well. So.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Simon, for joining us on the show today. Really awesome to have you here. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so any last words you want to speak to our audience here? I think we have over 2,000 live viewers. So anything you want to say before we end this interview?
Yeah, I just want to say we are very much we've seen all this before. I've seen the crash markets that we're in right now many times. I've seen it 8 times over. We are where Bitcoin was in 2014, and in 2014 we had an amazing bull run that brought more people, and then we had a consolidation phase where all the technology is built, all the innovation is built, all the companies get ready for scalability, all the blockchains get ready for scalability, and sometimes you have to be patient. But that is where wealth is created. You don't want to buy when everyone else is buying. You want to be buying when everyone else is selling. And you want to have a longer term time frame, because we are currently $300 billion market cap, maybe falling under. It might go down to 200. Bitcoin might go down to 5,000. Everything might crash further. But I believe the next wave is going to be a lot bigger than the last one, and we're headed to a 1 trillion, 5 trillion, market cap. There's lots of areas to grow. Don't overtrade. Have a longer term horizon frame.
Okay, thank you so much, Simon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, see you for our next live streaming. We'll
Please have a good
figure
rest.
something
I
out.
think now it's
now it's like
only, right?
time to start your day after the live streaming.
Thank you. Have a good day. Good
Bye.
rest. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so for the final update on our Huobi signature airdrop segment, let's check out which tier we have hit. So now we are at around 1,800 viewers. So I think previously we hit over 2,000. So today, everyone will be walking away with 65,626 BFT token, which will be distributed proportionately. So even though we didn't hit our next tier, as in the 3rd tier, it's fine. I think for future live streaming next Thursday, please invite all your friends so that we can hit more viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please note that all tokens will be deposited into your Huobi.pro account within 3 working days after official announcement is posted on Medium. Once the winner list is out in Medium, decision is final and non-negotiable. Yeah, and here's a quick disclaimer. Would like to remind everyone that there are risks involved and users are advised to exercise cautions in trading. When in doubt to the actions you should take, please consult your solicitors or other professional advisors.
Yeah, and also before we end, just some updates on HADAX. So for now, voting on HADAX is currently suspended. So please check out www.hadax.com for the latest announcement and updates. Also, we have specially chosen the top 5 tokens on Huobi.pro worth 5,000 USDT in May for airdrop to you. So to participate, simply make your first deposit, a one-time minimum of 300 USDT or equivalent. For more information, please check out the announcement at Huobi.pro website, huobi.pro.com. Yeah, and also, good news is that Huobi.pro is currently hiring in Vietnam and Singapore. So to all our Vietnam viewers, xin chào! So positions available include marketing, operations, community, to graphic designer. So if you would like to join the Huobi.pro family, here's your chance. So simply drop a message to apachr@huobi.com with your name, CV, and interested position. So I repeat, the email to send to is apachr@huobi.com. So come and join our family.
Come and join us.
It's very fun here.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us today. I think everyone have learned a lot from Simon, and the live stream could have gone on for like 8 more hours. Yeah, so if you want to find out more or have any more questions for us or for Huobi or for Simon, you can find us on social media such as Huobi.pro's official Telegram. Simply search Huobi.pro official, Twitter at Huobi_pro, Instagram at Huobi.pro. So check out the links at the description below right now. And also a final reminder, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest update. You see the red button below, the subscribe. So easy, right? So just click subscribe right now. Yeah. So give you 5 seconds to subscribe. Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Please subscribe. And also like this video so that we know that you like this content and we'll bring better, more quality content to you. Yeah.
If you have future questions, any comments, you can just leave your message in our live chat. For example, you are more interested in what kind of topic Simon want to introduce in future, so let us know.
And we also have a feedback form in our description, so you can fill out the feedback form. for us to know your feedback so we can improve the show better, bring you better content every time. So thank you so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure to be with you here today. So see you next Thursday, same time, 12 p.m. GMT +8. Remember to invite all your friends, and let's hit the last tier finally for the next week, because this week we only hit the first tier, but we'll all still be walking away with some BFT tokens. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.